Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very long overdue book haul. So overdue that some of the books that I'm hauling today have already shown on my channel. So yeah, I've been planning on filming this book haul for like a month now. And I haven't done it because life just got in the way. First of all, I got my wisdom teeth removed. That sucked ass. Still recovering from that. Not fun. And then finals. I just turned in my final, my last final paper of the semester yesterday. So that means I'm kind of officially no longer an undergraduate anymore. Go me. Although technically I graduate on Friday. But who cares? So yeah, life got in the way. But I'm here now, better than ever, ready to haul some books. I have 10 books to haul. 2 are on Kindle. So the first book is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I've seen this all over the internet. Everyone says it's really, really good and really emotional, and that's like my favorite type of book ever. If it can make me cry, it's probably decent, you know? So from what I understand, this book is about a relationship between a mother and her son, or I think more particularly a son and his mother, if that makes sense. I think the whole book is essentially a letter to the mother, so from the son to the mother who can't read. I'm not sure specifically what the plot is about beyond that. I know it covers a lot of different topics like race and addiction and depression and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. The whole premise of the letter to the mother type situation sounds really interesting to me, so yeah, excited to get to this one. So the next 2 are Sense and Sensibility and Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I've read, I don't know, I definitely want to say I've read more of Northanger Abbey than Sense and Sensibility in the past, but I've never finished either of them. I don't have a physical copy of Northanger Abbey. Well, I didn't before I purchased this one. And I do have a copy of Sense and Sensibility, but it's a penguin cloth bound, so I wanted one that I could annotate, and I don't know, it'd feel a little bit more comfortable reading. So yeah, that's why I got these 2. Next is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. This has been on the TBR for years. Now that I have a physical copy, maybe I will feel more incentivized to actually read it, you know? Yeah, I really like this Penguin Classic edition with the black. I mean, I love these. I love the Penguin Classic editions. I just think they look so nice on the shelf. The next book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Okay, yes, I have not read this book. Okay, sorry. I know that's controversial or whatever, but no, I haven't read this book yet. Everybody loves this book. I want to know why. I want to be in on it. I want to know the hype. But here's my problem. I read Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I didn't care for it. I wasn't eager to pick this one up afterwards. You can understand why. But here's the thing. Daisy Jones and the Six is written in a very particular way. It's just dialogue. I don't think there was any kind of prose in that book anywhere. I'm pretty sure it was all just dialogue because it was interviews. But I've heard so many good things about this book. I don't think I've seen one bad review of this book. I mean, obviously I could go on Goodreads and go to the lowest review and I would find one there. But as far as the people that I trust, their opinions, I haven't seen one negative one. I'm gonna give it a shot. Hopefully I like it better than Daisy Jones and the Six. So from what I have gathered of the plot of this book, it's about a Hollywood star named Evelyn Hugo who is interviewed by a woman named Monique to talk about the story of her life. And I think eventually, through the interview, Evelyn Hugo or Monique or whoever, they realize that their lives kind of interject in a certain way. So that plot does sound interesting to me. I'm intrigued. Okay, so hopefully the book delivers and doesn't disappoint. The next book that I picked up you know, I know I said I was done, but turns out I'm not done. It's Verity by Colleen Hoover. You know, it is what it is. If you saw my previous video where I talked about some books I want to read by the end of the year, I did include this in there, and I explained myself, okay, that I know I said that I was done with this woman's books. I read one of them, and I was over it. I know I said that, but turns out I was wrong. This one seems to rock people's socks more than the one that I read, so I'm gonna give it a shot. I have no clue what this book is about, and to be honest, I don't really care because I really am just interested in reading it because I'm curious. Like, I'm not actually, like, obviously into the book or the plot because I don't even know what it's about. I really am just curious, and I want to know if this book is actually better than It Ends With Us or if it's also mediocre. Sorry, guys. I've mentioned before that I think that this is, like, kind of her, like, R-rated shit or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But we'll see how it is. I'm hoping to read this by the end of the year. I'll most likely do a reading vlog on it like I did with It Ends With Us. Stay tuned for that, I guess. The next book that I picked up is Tender as Flesh by Augustina Basterica. I mentioned this also in my books I want to read by the end of the year video. This book, I believe, takes place in a society where cannibalism is essentially legal. That sounds cray-cray, so I'm ready for that. This sounds like a book that is right up my alley. I really enjoy books that make you think about life and make you kind of uncomfortable and keep you on the edge of your seat. Love that type of book. Next is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I also mentioned this in my books I want to read by the end of the year video, and I already read it. Like, since filming that video and today, I have read it. So, video coming soon where I'll talk about my thoughts on this one. But I wanted to pick this up also because I was curious and I just wanted to understand what the hype was. But also, I mentioned in my previous video, I was particularly interested in this book because to me it seemed like the people who had read this book, it was so divided with the reviews. Like, either people loved it or they hated it. Like, there was no in between. And so that intrigued me even more because I tend to be incredibly picky with books. And so I thought that I was going to hate it. Spoiler alert, I didn't. I didn't hate it at all. This book follows two people, a girl named Marianne and a guy named Connell, is how I assumed it was pronounced. The book basically follows them from high school whenever they become friends and, you know, their relationship together just in general starts to develop, and it follows them throughout college and how their relationship just changes over time and how them as people change over time and their experience that they have as individuals also as like a unit. That's basically what the book is about. Like I said, I've already read it, but I'm not going to talk about my thoughts too much in this video. I really want to right now, but I'm saving it for later. So at the beginning of the video, I apparently lied. I forgot that I have 3 books on Kindle that I got. So the first book on Kindle that I got is The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the 3rd book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. I've already started it. I'm on chapter 5. So this is just the final installment in the trilogy. Can't really say much beyond that because of spoilers. Wasn't too excited going into the book, to be honest. But just to close out the series and say that I completed it, I am reading it. The second book that I got on Kindle is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. So this book, from what I've gathered, follows a PhD student who enters like a fake dating kind of scenario, I believe, with a professor. That premise alone, to be completely honest, does not interest me because I feel like my experience with the fake dating trope in the past hasn't been very good. Like, I just haven't really enjoyed that trope, but maybe I just haven't read enough of it, or what I have read of it hasn't been that good. Because I've seen so many good reviews of this book and I've seen it everywhere. So I was interested in picking it up because I was like, okay, if this many people like it, maybe it's better fake dating, maybe I'll like it. But the thing that worries me more is that I have like beef, okay, with these kind of like modern contemporary romance books because the dialogue, not just between the two like love interest characters, but between like any of the characters, is always so cringy. I cannot get past it. I DNF'd the Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren because of that. Like, in real life, okay, like, when I'm talking to a person, I personally don't enjoy small talk, but I will engage in small talk because it's, like, polite or whatever, and it's just something you do. But I don't like small talk, right? I would rather not talk than engage in small talk. And there's a way that, like, people communicate when they're having, like, small talk, when they don't really know each other that well. And for some reason, in these books, whenever these people communicate with each other, like the characters, it feels like they're having small talk. If that makes sense? Like, the vibe of their conversations just gives small talk, but they can be talking about, like, the most deepest shit. Like, they can be talking about their sex life, but it's coming off like they're acquaintances. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's awful. And then there's, like, a weird, like, Disney Channel-esque quality of the banter and, like, the convo in general that I hate. I hate it so much. And it makes me cringe so hard. The last contemporary romance book like this that I read was The Hating Game. And that one did have some cringy dialogue in it, but it wasn't too much of it, if that makes sense. It was definitely in there. Like, the cringe was there, okay? But it wasn't enough for me to be like, oh my god, I hate this right now. You know? Or to DNF it. And I ended up enjoying the book. So I'm hoping that this book is either kind of like on the hating game, you know, with the cringy dialogue, or just straight up doesn't have cringy dialogue at all. I would love to read a contemporary romance book that doesn't have cringy dialogue. That's all I want. That's really all I want. If anybody feels the same way that I do on this topic, please give me some recommendations on books that you have found. Because my favorite romance genre is historical romance. I love historical romance. I love the time period and the atmosphere and the environment. Like, I love it so much. But also, I feel like whenever authors are writing the dialogue in historical romance, it's easier to avoid that, like, cringiness of the banter and stuff, because the way that, like, the language is in general is different from the way that we speak today. So it already has to be different, you know? But that is just an issue that I have with contemporary romance. So I'm really, really hoping that this one doesn't disappoint or make me cringe to the point of DNFing the book. Speaking of contemporary romance, though, the last book that I picked up is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is a figure skater, hockey player romance, okay? Big ice skating vibes. But the whole plot and stuff seemed cute. Some kind of squabble between the two, and then I think the guy has to, like, do some figure skating stuff with her. I don't know. This is another one that I've seen everywhere, and I've seen, like, snippets of, like, parts of the book, like, lines, and it looks, like, good. Like, it looks like, okay, I want to read that. But I swear to God, if I start reading it and the dialogue makes me want to just never pick up a book again, I am going to be so annoyed. And I will never pick up another contemporary romance again. It's going to be solely historical romance from here on out. These two books, what is it? The Love Hypothesis and Icebreaker are the tipping point or whatever. I don't know the expression. But it's it. It's all coming down to this. Again, if you share my opinion on this, the same feelings that I do, and you have some recommendations on some good contemporary romance, please let me know. Please let me know. So those were all the books that I have to haul today. Let me know if you read any of them, what you thought about them, how you think I will feel about them. And yeah, that concludes this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!